Hello again. I'm starting a new segment called Retrospective. Essentially, it means I'm going to take a subject or something that I want to talk about in a retrospective kind of way. So for this first one, it's the best of 2008. We are about 2 weeks into the new year. I kind of want to look back on last year, finally look back on last year, and kind of reflect on the games I played or finished or purchased or liked or didn't like, and my reasons why for each of my consoles and handhelds, and basically just decide out of the ones I did play, which one, if I had to choose which one was the best out of all of those, which one it would be. So let's get started on that. I want to talk about the PS2 because I only purchased one game for that, which was Full Metal Alchemist 2: Curse of the Crimson Elixir, and the only game beyond that I actually finished, which was the only one I had to finish, was Okami. So let's start with Full Metal Alchemist. It did a lot of innovations. It definitely improved upon the first one, and graphically, it's better. I like the cell shade kind of effect of cell shading. But I think this is a really good time to point this out. When I do a video game review, I may talk about the graphics or the gameplay or the story, but really that's not what I'm judging it on. I'm not going to give it like a concrete score like graphics 8 out of 10. I'm not going to do that because I feel that that's too generic. Everyone does that. I'm just here to talk about what I liked. I'm not a graphics whore, like I said, at least I think I said that. If I didn't, now you know. I don't really care about the graphics. So let's continue on. I just want to take that little excerpt and just talk about that. So let's roll with what I'm doing. Like I said, Full Metal Alchemist, cell shaded art, definitely a pro. The story is, I think, superior to the first, so that's another good thing. It's a good story. However, if you're not a fan of the series, if you're not a fan of the anime, if you're not into that kind of anime type video game stuff, you shouldn't be playing that sort of game. The flaws that I thought it had was, again, like the first one, it's over too fast. I did get about, I think, 12 hours of gameplay out of it, but still, over too fast. Not enough customization, not enough like ability kind of things. It's kind of generic. Difficulty wise, I think there was a difficult. I can choose a higher one, but I don't really care about that. I did get to level like 45 or something like that, so I am curious what the level cap is, but if I had to give it a score, it would probably be a 7 out of 10. But that doesn't necessarily mean that I think it's a bad game. I think it's a fun game if you're a fan of the series. Moving on, Okami. I have nothing bad to say about this game. I'm sorry. In terms of, for the PS2, it's a gem. It's a must-own. I am truly sad that Clover Studios did not make enough to stay in business with this. So, really, I've got nothing else to say about my PS2. I mean, I retired my PS2 this year, or last year actually. I keep forgetting it's the new year. It's one of the originals. It's about 6, 7, I think almost 8 years old now, 7 years old, and it's had a good run. It still works fine. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying I don't use it anymore. And with that kind of being said and done, let's move on to the next console handheld type thing. And I want to talk about the PSP. I only purchased 2 games for the PSP last year: God of War: Chains of Olympus and Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. I'm sure you can guess which one I would choose to be the better one. Considering I'm doing a Final Fantasy 7 walkthrough, and 7 is my favorite PS1 game. But hold off on your conclusions just yet. Let's start with God of War, since I got that before Crisis Core. Graphically, amazing. I'm surprised at how well it ported to the PSP. Control-wise, I'm surprised they managed to do something so well considering the absence of one of the analog sticks. The pros is definitely the near PS2 graphics. The battle system has remained pretty much intact. The feel of the God of War game is there. So, I don't have much to complain about the battle system, or the combos, or the fighting, or the killing, or the controls. What I do have problems with is the story. I'm a big fan of the series, and I think it's interesting to know what took place during the 10 years of servitude to the gods, but I think the story could have been longer. Gameplay-wise, maybe 6 hours, 7 at best. Heck, you can even do it in less than 4 or 5 hours if it's your second or third playthrough. And because of that, that's a flaw. I know it's probably due to the limitations of the UMD and what it can hold, but beyond that, it doesn't detract negatively because of the fact that it is a flaw. It also has a positive side. Shorter time to finish the game means you can go back and try playing a different difficulty level, and you don't get burnt out on it as much. But I gotta say, if I had to give God of War Chains of Olympus a number, it would have to be an 8.5 out of 10. And the other two God of War games, God of War 1 and God of War 2, would obviously get 9. So it's pretty close to on par with the remainder of the games in the series. Crisis Core. Oh, you know what? I realized that I didn't give Okami a score. But since I said I've got no problems with it, I found no flaws with it, I enjoyed every minute of it, all 102 hours that I played it. Yeah, I'm not even going to give that a score. I think you can tell, if I had to give it a score, what I would give it. Back to my point. Back to what I was talking about. Crisis Core. Pros. Graphics. Probably superb. The best graphics I've ever seen on the PSP. Gameplay. I put in like 60 hours. That's a lot. Or no, I put in like 50 some hours. That's a lot to do on a PSP game. Battle system. Intuitive and fun. I love the material customization. That's one of the big draws that appeals me to Final Fantasy 7, and I like that they kept that. I like the Kingdom Hearts kind of battle system feel, even though it is easy to go through the game pressing one button and win. I like that you could immerse yourself further and get real detail down to the nitty gritty of the core of the system. If I had to give it a flaw, it would have to be story. Yeah, it's inferior to 7's, and I did enjoy the story. I gotta say, I don't like Genesis, and I don't really care about NGO, but I did like some of the things that they did that helped explain some things that needed to be answered. But if I had to give Crisis Core a score, it would probably be 9 out of 10. It was a phenomenal experience, and although it's inferior to its predecessor, it's definitely a must-have for the PSP. And I will tackle the PS3 and the PS1 games that I played through in my second part of Retrospective Best of 2008.